and I know that's only an introduction to that
yes.
concept, but it is so. I thought when I heard it, I said, "Wow, isn't that interesting?" And that's why I said I've got to ask him about that concept because I had never, heard anyone actually say that. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yes.
And I encourage anyone that's listening to go and you can find Dr. Valentine's lectures all over the internet. If you're not fortunate enough to see them in person, you can always find them, as well as you do also offer videos. Is that correct?
Well, no longer, because my friendly neighborhood bootleggers have pretty much put everything up there. You see that everything that's on the. Let me just say this to the family: everything that's on YouTube, I had no hand in putting there. In fact, everything that's on YouTube was either put there by bootleggers or people who essentially were only maybe one or two people who asked me for permission to put it up there. But by that time, everybody was putting my materials up on the internet. And I have not ever. I don't even know how to. I don't even have an account with YouTube. And if I do, somebody else set it up for me. So all of the stuff on YouTube was put up there by somebody else.
Okay. All right. Well, that's unfortunate, and but I guess they're there, and people who
yeah,
they're there.
Yeah, just I no longer do I. That's, I guess, that's what I call my karmic tithe, and if it has helped to uplift and to help to bring more knowledge to the world, because I get calls from all over the world now, then I have done my part in helping to at least bring up the consciousness index of the planet.
I think that is a beautiful outlook, and I also being an artist, I sing and things like that. Sometimes I go and I find that people have actually reproduced my videos and put them up, and I say to myself, well, at least it's continuing to spread the knowledge. So I'm so glad that you've taken that approach. I think that's beautiful, Dr. Valentine.
Yes,
beautiful. Yes. All right. I also want to say that of course, you were on my program a while ago, and you mentioned many things that were taking place. And when people heard that episode, they were astonished over the accuracy. You spoke about the economic collapse of the country's monetary system, changing over to a world currency, Bancorp, and, many different things. And one of my favorite topics was you also spoke about the rape of the resources in Africa. And I just want to say that as I wrote the description of this program up, I did speak about, what we wanted to ask about 2012 because, there's so much controversy surrounding it. I know in another one of your lectures you spoke about, a carousel of light and us traveling into another galaxy and those types of things. So do you mind speaking a little bit about what is taking place and what will take place in 2012 and beyond?
Well, I've been telling everyone, thank you for that segue, I've been telling everyone about what it is that they need to prepare for more than anything else, and that is to be able to grow their own food in times of stress. And by the way, the very company I was talking about, we are now sponsoring something called the towers, the vegetable towers, the tower gardens. And there's a way you can grow your own food on these tower gardens that you could have in your own backyard, in your house, and grow your own vegetables and fruits continuously. It's called aeroponics. And it's not growing water with hydroponics, that's with water, but this is aeroponics, using a little water. The roots are exposed to the air, and they grow huge succulent fruits and vegetables, and, mostly vegetables at this time. And we're promoting that as well. That's one of the things that we have to become, and that's more self-sufficient. Of course, I have spoken about the fact that we are part of the participants in this carousel of light that I said that we're in. And this carousel of light has to do with us cycling or circling around And there's so many different carousels, of course, but our particular carousel is going to be taking us through different portals, one that's coming up on the 21st of December, and we're going to be entering into it, and our ancestors, Olmec Mayan ancestors, call it Xibalba. And that's going to be the time when consciousness that has been most prevalent, the consciousness has been most prevalent, which has been the acceleration of our materialistic mentalities. That is going to come to an end because the rate at which knowledge is going to be accumulated and accrued and absorbed by the mind is going to triple. In other words, I gave an idea of how our ancestors came to and the time frame it took for our ancestors to come into certain knowledge. So you figure about, say, the last 51,000 years, we ended up building pyramids, and we began using our minds to travel to different parts of the universe and to different parts of the earth and so forth. Well, now, the kind of information that we are able to now transmit, say, what it took me, I would say 35 years to come to this particular point to teach you what I know. Children today will take 35 maybe months to get it. So knowledge is now becoming so compact, and the ability for it to transmit itself around the world has become so fast that what took me times, like for instance, I didn't come up with a computer. All my research was based upon me taking the train and going to libraries and staying there for days, coming back and going to another library, weeks, researching books back and forth. Just like the classes that you're getting in my class, the metaphysical psychology, it's not in books. This is a proprietary class. From all of the books, the 4,000 books I read, I compressed the information so that you don't have to go around reading all of these other books, which would be nice for you, just to exercise that part of your brain. But because of the ability now within the time frame we're in to contract and concentrate information into such a potent format, and children being able to get information at the push of a button. That means information and knowledge is being given in flashes of light, where it took sometimes 1,000 years for it to be transmitted from one generation to the next. So here we are now at the end of a specific cycle where information now is almost instantaneous, and we are now about to come to an end cycle where now all of that information is going to become internalized. The European now cannot take that information and process it internally into a forum or into a formula that will help him to transcend the physical body into a spiritual body of light. So what does he do? Because of the lack of melanin, and I know people don't think it's racist or whatever, it ain't. He himself has admitted this. Because of the lack of melanin, and some things he will not admit to as well, you have to decipher it for yourself, he cannot take himself spiritually to the next level. So instead of him using what we're supposed to be using, which is the first technology, that is the human body, in order for us to decipher what's necessary to transcend this consciousness, he now uses an exoskeleton. He uses technology as an exoskeleton, and the exoskeleton is what he now calls his cyborg, and you notice all the movies is about fusing humans and machines together. Well, that's how he is going to use his version of melanin. He's going to use an exoskeleton of technology to amplify his recessive deficiencies so that he can jumpstart whatever mechanism his physical body still retains, and then go into that reality and make sure he lays claim to it the way his colonialist ancestors did. So what you're looking at is this mad dash towards nanotechnology to control your DNA and then control the senses, to control the bloodstream, and to electronically interface the bloodstream with mechanics so that the mechanics now act as the melanin to give him a sense